What up, though? This is Knockouts in 3 Counts. But before we bring you another episode of Podcast Gold, let me tell you about the homies over at Michigan's Finest. Do you ever find yourself trying to get yourself together and thinking, man, this is going to be a great night, but I'm looking for that little extra something? Well, check out our friends at Michigan Finest. If you are into medical marijuana, recreational marijuana, concentrates, vapes, anything of that sort, Michigan's Finest has got you covered. And as you can see here, it's all easily done by their website. It's all curbside, and you'll be in and out in 2 minutes. And they're family owned and operated, so customer service is their number one goal. And now, since they are rocking with Knockouts in 3 Counts, use the code KO3MF. Yes, that's KO3MF. You get 10% off your entire order, but that does exclude featured items and items that are already on sale. But if you use that code, you're getting 10% off your items, and I promise you, either if you're looking for that big knockout or you're ready to hit the sheets for that 3 count, Michigan's Finest will get you together. Tell them Knockouts in 3 Counts sent you, and I promise you, you're going to be having a great night. Peace.
This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts in 3 Counts.
We got a new world champion.
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts in 3 Counts is the podcast, baby. There's a real deal, baby.
Knockouts in 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? It is a Thursday. This is Knockouts in 3 Counts. And man, if you pay attention to the social media, we got the show for you today. Fresh off of another KO win for LFA at LFA 150, we've got Merciless Mitch Mckee. How you doing, brother, man?
Good. How about you guys?
Can't complain, man. Like we were talking about before we hit the red button. Didn't freeze my balls off yet, so we're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
you know,
man.
this is Michigan weather. It could be negative here in a minute. He's from Minnesota, and their weather's worse than ours, so I can't bitch too much. But, I mean, you're doing pretty well right now, dude. You had another big win here at LFA. How are you feeling about the fight, man? Another one down. You're now 4-0 as a pro.
Yeah, I feel good about it. Felt good to finish a fight on my feet. You know, coming from wrestling, it always feels good to finish the fight with a knockout versus on the ground. So that feels really good. And just, you know, building that time in the cage and getting more comfortable on the feet. So every fight, I feel like I'm getting more and more comfortable on the feet. And, yeah, I'm excited, you know, to keep fighting this year and get some more time in the cage.
Well, with that being said, dude, you know, you're only 25 years old, dude. You come out of Minnesota. You had quite the pedigree there. I mean, tell me a little bit about that. How does getting to wrestle at such a high level like Minnesota prepare you to be on such a high stage already with fighting in place like LFA and Bellator already earlier in your career? How does Minnesota prepare you for something like that?
Yeah, I think just Big Ten wrestling season and NCAA season, you know, and on top of that, I did a lot of freestyle Greco stuff. I've went overseas for tournaments, and I think just being able to just being in a lot of competition all the time with wrestling and being on big stages and being in arenas full of people and wrestling in it, and I know that helped me for sure in my first fight. You know, going my first walk to the cage. I didn't do any amateur fights. I just went straight to pro. So it was a little scary, but I just kept telling myself, you know, you've done big things competition-wise before, and this isn't any bigger than, you know, what you've already done. And, you know, that helped me a lot walking in there. And so, yeah, I just lean back on all the stuff I've been through in wrestling, all the competition I've faced in wrestling, and it makes it a little easier.
I mean, not even just competition as wrestling, like All-American. It doesn't get any higher of a level. Like, you know, to really do that, and then to your point, at a Big Ten school, to be able to do that, like, it even showcased that much more. You know, like that's big stuff, man.
Crazy thing is, like, coming from that prestigious wrestling school, you wouldn't think the guy has 4 stoppages in MMA now. You know what I mean? Like,
it's kind of incredible, dude. Like you said, coming from that type of school with that type of prestige, everybody's gonna think you're gonna wrestle these guys, and he's out there just laying people out. It's actually pretty cool to me.
Yeah, I definitely, all my fights I've taken the guys down right away, but to me, I feel like I'd like to take them down right away, even if I think I can strike with them, just because then it makes them think of the takedown, about the takedown, and then kind of soften them up on the ground and get them tired, and then on the feet, it makes it a little easier for me too, So, but yeah, I mean, I still go to my wrestling, but I've been working a lot on my feet, obviously, and have a lot of great guys down here to help me.
Well, not only that, it seems like you're the best way I thought to word it, because I've been trying to think about this the whole time. The ground and pound's real, man, and you found a real way to implement it in your fight so that it really works extremely well in your favor. Of course, with that superior wrestling background and stuff, you are able to get guys down. And not only that, it seems like you've done a really great job of being able to not only hold them there, but improve position to a advantageous spot where you're able to, like I say, implement that ground and pound, man. It was impressive. I went back and viewed your whole professional fight career, and there's been some bombs in there so far, man. It's been a hell of a career so far, man.
Appreciate it.
And with the last fight with a guy like you were in there with, who's coming in there trying to strike with you, for you to get another knockout finish, I mean, that says something for you as well. But I wanted to ask you something about the Minnesota side. So you'll see a little bit of it as we get a little bit farther along. We obviously cover the pro wrestling end of things. So with you being wrestling at Minnesota, you got to tell me, what are your thoughts on a guy like Brock Lesnar? And did you ever mess with the pro wrestling thing?
Brock's cool, especially with Gable Steveson being in our room. I was on the team with him. Brock would come in and wrestle with Gable, and I've watched Brock all growing up since I'm from Minnesota. I live 30 minutes away from the campus, so all growing up. So it's the WWE side's cool. Gable's in it now, and his brother Bobby's in it. So it's something that now I didn't watch it a ton growing up because I was just focused on my wrestling, but now that those guys are in it, I'm starting to get more interested in watching it more. My brother and his buddy and Logan Storley flew out there the one weekend to WrestleMania in Vegas, and my agent is also Gable Steveson's agent for WWE, so I'm sure in the future I'll be going with my agent to go watch him at some event.
There you go.
That's cool.
Bro, you got to come down to LA and come to WrestleMania and come fuck with us, man. It's going to be a good time. I mean, I'm going to be down there with past guests. Yeah, it's going to be in April, bro. Let's get it after it.
I got a fight in April, but if it's later in April, maybe.
It's right at the end of March, right at the beginning. But
literally the first day of April.
Literally the first day of April.
Damn.
Hey, man, but eventually we'll run into you at one of these. That's one of the good things about Knockouts and Three Counts. If you guys are new here, make sure you check us out because you never know where we'll end up. I know for sure we just found out today that we're going to be at Astronomicon, so you might be seeing the likes of Rikishi and Sandman and Sabu, and who knows, maybe even Trish Stratus, Devin's long-lost one that got away. Who knows? We'll see come March 3rd. But with that being said, back to you. Talking about being in there with the likes of Gable Steveson and all them, I looked at the fight. Dude, you had Robbie Lawler in the corner as well. So, I mean, you're getting A1 knowledge everywhere you're going. So tell me a little bit about how you ended up at Kill Cliff FC, what made them the right stop for you to go to? Because, I mean, there's a million different places that you can train in Florida. For all intents and purposes, Florida's really become one of the hubs of MMA. I mean, you got Kill Cliff over there. You got American Top Team over there. You've got Fusion Excel that we just had Joe Penafiel out of there on. So, I mean, there's a million different places you can train. What made that the right place to go other than the obvious with just having such great training partners?
Yeah, so I finished Olympic trials for wrestling in May 2021, and Logan Storley reached out to me. He wrestled at the University of Minnesota as well. he graduated the end of my junior year of high school. So, but I went and trained at Minnesota all throughout high school because I lived so close. And so I knew him, and he came back to our room quite a few times when I was in college. And he called me and asked if I wanted to try MMA, which at the time I didn't think I was going to do MMA. But I've watched it since I was young. You know, all me and my buddies used to get together at each other's houses and watch all the UFC cards, and so I've always been interested in it. I thought maybe one day I would try it, but I didn't know when. You know, so because I've just been so wrestling oriented, and my mindset was just on wrestling. And so yeah, when I got the opportunity, he asked me to come down. I came down here for 2 weeks, trained for 2 weeks, and just fell in love with it. And by July, I moved down here. So 2 months later, me and my fiance at the time packed up all our stuff and drove down here. So, and yeah, like you said, there's so many good guys in our room, and I knowing Logan, we have the same agent. He's from the Midwest as well, and all the guys in the room just felt like the right place.
Now, real quick with the whole wrestling background and stuff, it always interests me, like, what actually is that thing that made the jump so interesting, right? Like, was it being able to still, how do I word that right? Still be able to have that competitive edge in a like a brotherhood type of thing where you're dealing with, like you say, you're around a bunch of people that you not only respect, but then people that are going to be able to teach you stuff that you can improve on. It's real similar to the wrestling room, but in a completely different format, essentially.
Yeah. To me, it was a little bit of that, and along with, I've never really did any striking, I guess, but maybe like just so happened like 6 to 8 months before he called me, me and my brother started like just hitting pads with this guy we know just for fun and an extra workout, and I really liked it. And then coming down here, I even sparred with all the guys, even though I've never sparred in my life, and just felt like even though I was super far behind on the striking, and that I felt like with my wrestling, like even on the jiu-jitsu days, I wasn't, I'd maybe get a rear naked put on me every once in a while because I wasn't thinking about it. Like I didn't, I've never, but I knew that the striking was really what I was going to have to work on. And that with wrestling, it's such a big part of the sport that if you're dominant in wrestling, it's hard for people to stop it. So I knew that I had that locked down, and I could feel that it was a big part of the sport. And then, having guys like Robbie and all these guys to help me with the striking along the way, and Henry Hoof, and it just felt like I can get better at the striking, and in the meantime, I'll keep wrestling these guys in my fights until I can get my striking good enough to where I can stand on the feet as well.
Well, and it's got to take a big weight off your shoulders as well, because when you've got that wrestling background, it's kind of like the ace in the hole. You can be a lot more comfortable to let your hands go because if worse comes to worse, you have that ace in the hole. But to be able to mix it up like you did in your last fight, because if anybody who paid attention and didn't get to see the fight at LFA 150, you had a quick level change feint and caught him with the right hand, which originally started the whole barrage that finished the fight, dude. And the more you're able, like you said, to be able to mix in your wrestling with your striking, dude, it's only going to make you more dangerous. With that being said, you mentioned some of the names that are going to be over there. One of your teammates over there, Gilbert Burns, is going to be fighting again soon. And we see that it's going to be against George Masvidal. Tell me a little bit about training with him. How do you see that fight? What do you think about it?
Yeah, training with him's awesome. I mean, because I've gotten close to Robbie and Gilbert, and and Michael Chandler, when he comes down, I train with him a lot. And it's just, I've gotten close to these guys because, I'm there every day and they're there every day. And I think they see that I'm there working hard and I'm up and coming guy. So they want to help me. So Gilbert's always helping me with my jiu-jitsu. I'm always asking him questions, or if he sees a position that I'm in that I, need help in, then he's always helping me. But yeah, his jiu-jitsu, I think, is going to be a little too much for George Masvidal, to be honest. But
So do you think he can really resist do you really think he can resist the urge to want to bang with him, though, to use that jiu-jitsu, or do you think it's going to turn into a brawl?
He just fought, 2 weekends ago against Magny and took him
Steamrolled
down
him.
submitted him.
Steamrolled him, dude.
I think he'll probably, test out the striking, and or he'll, take him down, respect the takedown, and then go to a striking, or I mean, who knows? It could be like last fight and he takes him down and he never gets up. So that's the beauty of being good in all the areas of the sport, is why I'm working so hard on my striking and my jiu-jitsu. It's because if you're able to do everything, then your opponent can't be like, oh, he's just a striker, so I'll do this against him. You got everything. So, and if you look at the best guys, they have takedowns, they have ground and pound, they have submissions, they have striking on the feet, obviously. So, but I'm excited. Gilbert's I think he's going to make a little run here and get back into the title contention. So.
Yeah, I think he's always kind of stayed right at that top echelon. It was just, I feel like 22 was kind of the year of trying to stay busy. And then you had the Hazmat fight and stuff, and that kind of delayed a lot too, But one thing I wanted to kind of dig back to was that Iron Mike Chandler, man. I feel like both of you guys, once you two in a room together, like stature-wise, I know you guys are different weight classes and stuff, but just the experience and everything from your guys' backgrounds and everything, you guys see it. It seems like that would be the perfect type of mentor to be able to like implement certain aspects of your game to improve off of, where he's been able to just turn this. He was already incredibly successful over in Bellator before he made his UFC transfer. But now that he's over here, he's really won the hearts of the fans and stuff like that. And I feel like it's size and stature and stuff. Like I say, it's just like the perfect mold of, somebody that you could build yourself into, essentially.
Yeah, and honestly, I watch a lot of his stuff, and obviously I work with him. When he comes down here, I try to work with him every practice because I know that we have similar body types for our weights. Like you said, even though I'm 35, he's 55.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our body types and our styles are pretty similar. And yeah, when I work with him, he's always helping me, and he's a great guy to we chop it up after practice, before practice, and just a good guy to talk to, get knowledge from, and like you said, there's a lot of guys in our room say that we look exactly the same. So I've been trying to get a lot of knowledge from him when he's down here, and just soak it up. And that's what I love about being in the room that I'm in. It's because there's so many guys from so many different backgrounds, so many different styles, from Robbie to Gilbert to Chandler to, just unbelievable amount of experience in our room. And I love just going with those guys, whether I'm going with them or watching them or just asking them questions. It helps me a lot. I feel like it's helped me grow a ton, having those guys around.
Oh, I could absolutely imagine, man. That's a wealth of experience, and to just be swimming in that pool essentially is awesome, And then with the Robbie Lawler thing, I mean, what's it like having him transition to kind of into this coaching role, later in his career and stuff, and really to be, in your corner and stuff for all these fights, man? That's got to be an awesome feeling, to be that earlier in your career and you got Robbie Lawler making trips all the way up to freaking North Dakota and shit to corner you. It's got to be a good feeling, man.
Yeah. It's it helps having those guys in your corner, because you can, that you got guys that have been through it. You're confident. When you look in your corner, that, or if you're in the corner and they're telling you something, it's good advice because they've been there. So. Just having him in my corner, having his presence around before the fight, during the fight, just it just elevates you at the same time, elevates your confidence. And in the room too, it's he has kind of mentored me and a couple other the younger guys, and He helps out Logan Storley a lot. And he's helped me a ton with my footwork on my boxing and just little things that have just made the biggest difference for me.
It's a hell of a guy to learn from, dude. A legend right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A hell of a guy to learn from.
Dude, I mean, and not to mention, you're talking about a guy who, like you said, I mean, he's fought everybody. He's trained everywhere. You're talking about a guy who was part of that Militich team back in the day to American Top Team and everywhere else. I mean, he's got knowledge.
Just the knowledge alone is worth it. You know what I mean? Like this guy was fighting when we were, little. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
It's crazy. Like I was saying, like I've watched UFC since I was young, so it's crazy to have watched him growing up, and then now it's like tonight I went in and trained, and he was there, and we were talking about stuff after we were done and working on in a front head position, trying to get ground and pound off from there, and he was showing us stuff, and you just be able to watch, watching that guy when you're young, and then now it's like you forget, like right away when I came here, it was like you're kind of starstruck, but then you forget like how crazy it is sometimes that you're able to work with guys like that every single day.
Yeah.
It kind of just becomes one of those things once you're around them enough, those are the training partners. You know what I mean? Like for you, it wouldn't mean anything. Somebody else comes in there, they're going to be struck. But after a while, it just becomes, okay, these are the guys that I'm training with. These are the homies. These are the people that I'm riding with. Because, it's funny because where I train here in Michigan, man, at one time, I first started training in 2006 or 2008. And at one point we had, my buddy Miles Jury, who's part of Bellator, trains down in San Diego. You had Darren Cruikshank, who was UFC, Bellator, Verizon. My coach was in there, still in the heavyweight ranks right around that time as well. It's just funny how that works, how once you're around people for a while, it's just like it doesn't matter. And especially once it comes to training, because if you become too awestruck or too, oh my God, I'm training with so-and-so, dude, you're going to get cracked in the mouth. I mean, this isn't ballet. This isn't a game. Like if you fuck around, you're going to find out. Would that be, I mean, I'm just saying, I fucked around and found out a few times, so I can speak from, experience, man. But with that being said, obviously you said you're watching a lot of these fights. You said you're checking it out. We know you fought for Bellator. What are your thoughts on what we got going this weekend, man? You got the last fight of the legend Fedor against Ryan Bader, and then you got Johnny Eblen and Tokov as well. How you feeling about those fights, bro? And let me ask you this. In your opinion, who do you think is the greatest heavyweight of all time?
Of all time?
Yeah, because a lot of people say it's Fedor. You hear a lot of people say Stipe if they're more, just strictly UFC. Those who are the old heads, you always hear the Fedor argument. Who do you think it is?
That's a tough one. A lot of people, I feel like, in the U.S., not everyone will say Fedor, but I feel like across the world, a lot of people would. That's tough. I don't know. I'm going to say, well, I guess we won't really see, like, the rest of his career in the UFC, but I feel like Ngannou, dude, just with his power, and he showed his grappling ability in his last fight before he got surgery against Gane.
Yeah.
But it's been a short career so far, so it's and now he's not in the UFC anymore. So, but him and God, that's a tough question. Stipe too, he's.
I feel like it comes down to Stipe, DC, and Fedor. It kind of just depends on your flavor. I feel like Fedor wins because of how long he was undefeated and the names that he beat along the way. If you don't go with him, it's got to be Stipe as 1A for me, because I say this all the time on the show, and anybody that's been following us for any amount of time will tell you, I feel like Stipe gets criminally underrated and criminally looked over a lot of the time, because even with the return of John Jones, man, I am so happy to see even that fight. I have no problem with the fight, but in my opinion, I feel like those two should have fought. The winner fights Stipe, and then you got a heavyweight champion. The fact that they're saying that this one's for the belt and you're passing over the guy who had the most dominant run as far as heavyweights go in the UFC, and you also have to take into account he's beaten Ngannou, he's beaten Cormier. I mean,
that's true.
I'm just saying.
I love DC though, man. How do you overlook?
I'm not trying to hate on DC, man. But facts are facts, bro.
DC,
did he lose or did he not?
DC was a champion's champion, bro. That's a man's champion.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that. But so is Stipe.
You're not wrong.
Stipe is the people's champ, bro. I mean, you want to talk about the people's champ.
And like you were saying too, with the activity thing with Ngannou, right? Like it's really hard to take him completely out of the argument because he has the victory over Stipe and stuff, but he also has a loss to him. But he's improved so much in his career. And to Kyle's point, the Fedor thing, I mean, it's so hard to ignore if you go back and watch any of the Pride fights. I mean, like, there was just his aura at that time was just unreal. He was untouchable there for, it was like 10 years or something.
Yeah, dudes beat before they ever got in the ring, dude.
Yeah. And honestly, the only thing that would keep him out of that front running argument for best ever at heavyweight is the fact that he wasn't in the UFC. That's literally it.
Yeah, but back then it wasn't what it was now. I feel
it
like
wasn't the monopoly.
Let's be honest,
a lot of those guys.
They're kind of lucky he wasn't in the UFC because he probably would have ran roughshod through that division at one point. The guy was a monster, dude.
Yeah, it's a different ballpark nowadays, right? Like it's Bellator, PFL, and all that. I won championship. I watch everything. I'm a fight degenerate. I say it all the time on the show here. But that being said, there's a reason why the UFC is considered the top organization. They just have that roster, right? And I feel like at that given time, that given era, that wasn't the case. There were so many people, like similar to what I was going to comment earlier with you, Mitch, with the whole Bellator thing, is like they would bring people in for one fight and then let them go, or it's not the same as it is now where there's these huge, long, drawn out contracts and stuff. So I feel like the era where Fedor was running the world essentially in the heavyweight division was a completely different time because heavyweight was real in Pride and stuff like that. Like that was legitimate, maybe even more legitimate than UFC was at that time, especially in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey man, all I know is I can get down with some Pride fights. But with that being said,
so much.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, I'm just gonna say Alberto Del Rio probably ain't missing it too much because he got fucked up.
Pride,
I'm just saying.
Record,
he got
this
fucked
guy.
Up.
That was the Pride fighting. I think it was the first time I ever seen Vanderlei Silva, and I was like my mind was just completely blown. And I was like,
first time you ever saw somebody soccer kick.
I mean, it might besides in the streets of Pontiac or something, but like I remember because that was the time around he was about to fight Chuck. Remember that war? Chuck Liddell? Him and Chuck Liddell was about to go to war. So I'm like, I'm a Chuck guy. You know what I mean? I love Chuck Liddell. I got to go back and see this Vanderlei guy. And all I seen was Pride. I'm like, oh shit, dude. This is gonna be wild. Chuck might be in trouble. Hey, he got through it though.
Look, all I'm gonna say is Chuck Liddell ruined my 16th birthday, sir. So you can't tell me shit about it. I flew all the way to Atlanta to watch. He fought Rashad, damn it. And Rashad knocked him the fuck out. I was like, son of a bitch. I flew all the way to Atlanta, and I'm telling this guy in the row in front of us, fuck yeah, Chuck's gonna get him because the first round it looked good. And then damn it, Rashad threw that overhand. It was boom and zoom.
I had nightmares for days after that. I don't think I slept anymore. Not only that, but we'll go even deeper than that. Everybody in my household knew Rashad was from Michigan State. I don't talk about that much here, but I was like, not green and white, man. And then the fact that he put Chuck on his face, ruined my week.
Look, I've said this before. If they're not playing U of M, I'm okay with Michigan State. I don't understand all these motherfuckers Michigan, they're not
fighting
playing
your favorite fighter ever.
I mean, look, dude, I'm just saying the fact that he went to Michigan State wins him some points.
It wasn't like he just beat him. No, he embarrassed him. He embarrassed a generation of fight fans, and he just put our man right on his face, dude. It was horrible. It was a bad time. We don't need to talk about it no more.
Well, since we don't need to talk about it anymore, you had kind of brought up that you got another fight going, LFA again?
Yeah. April 14th in Sioux Falls with LFA. Yep. I'm going to try to sneak one in March too. Just, I don't know where yet, but not with LFA maybe. I don't have a contract with them or anything, but I'm just trying to get as much fights as I can. You know, it's hard right now. I get a lot of offers for fights. I guess they come to my agent with like, do you have any bantamweights that can fill the spot? And then I say yes to it, and then a lot of times the guy drops out of it then. So, but I'm trying to get as many. Like I was supposed to have one February 18th, and then the guy said no, and then maybe March 11th.
How tough are you having a time with that, with getting fights, with your wrestling background and you being, being, so short off in the career? I mean, a lot of guys I feel like aren't going to want to take that fight because it's a dangerous fight to take early on to catch a loss,
Yeah, it's been hard. I've probably had about 10 fights fall through. Not where like they came to me or came to my agent asking for someone, and then we said yes, and then they said no, and then sometimes they'll try to find a new person to put on the card, and then that person says no. For my last fight, I didn't even get the opponent till like a week before because they couldn't get anybody, even though we knew since like October that we were going to fight in January. Yeah, it's pretty tough. It's just, that's the one. Yeah, it's just, I know it's going to happen now. Like my first couple, it kind of frustrated me because it sucks not knowing if you have a fight or not the week before it, you're like down to weight kind of, you're just like, I just want to know if I'm going to be fighting or not, but that's also the beauty of Sioux Falls and Minneapolis is they usually, they so far have every time came through. So because they're just my agent and LFA is trying really hard to do it because I'm selling a lot of tickets at the event. So, but yeah, it's frustrating, but it happens.
Yeah, it's the nature of the business, especially like we were saying earlier with all the experience and stuff you got. Everything you built, everything you bring into that, I could imagine managers on the other side saying, "Hey, we're trying to build our guy up too, man. What the fuck?" We can't have him going in here against this young killer, man. And from past experience on the show, that seems to be kind of a reoccurring theme with a lot of the, guys with some type of I don't want to say backbone, but the book's thick, you got a lot of acumens behind you, so once you start, it's hard to match up a guy like I was saying, you go in there against some other 5-0 guy, it's like, man, I'm risking my guys against this all-American kill, that's hard to, that's a hard
They don't
sell,
want the
for
sure.
Corey.
Corey, that's what we're talking about. They don't want the smoke. Well, I mean, you heard what AJ tells people, but with that being said, before we get your picks on the UFC and all that, let's talk about something outside of MMA for a minute. When you ain't training, when you ain't fighting, are you getting down on some Warzone? Do you like to go outside? What are we doing outside of fighting, bro?
Definitely Warzone, yeah.
See, what the fuck? It's a winner, man. It's funny how I knew that was going to happen. With that being said, we're going to have to get down on some Warzone, bro. Shout out to past guest of the show, Shane Taylor, who you heard in the intro. We were getting dubs the other day.
Yeah, I was playing earlier today. Probably might sneak a couple in after this. We'll see.
Hell yeah, man. Let's get at it.
Yep, I do that. I don't know. I don't go to the beach. I guess I just kind of relax in between time. I guess on the weekends, I golf on the weekends. Pretty much just golf, Warzone, and train. That's about it.
What's the score looking like on the golf course? Because I can't do shit for golf. I'm just, I'll admit it.
I'm not terrible, but not great. I probably shoot around a 90, so 18 over. But yeah,
I'd be out here like Happy Gilmore, so fuck it.
That's a hobby I want to get back into so bad. I grew up playing golf, man, and that's one I would wonder what my swing's looking like nowadays. It's been quite a while.
I golfed on varsity in 7th and 8th grade, and then I quit all sports besides wrestling, and then didn't golf really till I moved here. So it was like 9 years off. I mean, maybe like once a summer, but didn't golf for like 9 years basically. So it's like everything's completely different now. But it's like just like riding a bike, you get back to it.
Yeah, a couple swings, you get it back.
I don't know, man. I went to Top Golf not too long ago, and I came home the next day. I felt like shit. Not gonna lie. So, kudos to you boys. It ain't for me, man.
Yeah,
Pull the rotator.
I ain't even gonna hold you up. I'm like, dang, man.
It's like, we do it. I golf every weekend, so I don't get sore doing it anymore. But I bring my wife every once in a while, she's better than I am, but she only golfs like twice a year maybe, and she'll still beat me. But she's always sore after too because she only golfs like twice a year.
Yeah, there it is.
In other words, J Boney's saying, "Stop being a punk, guy."
I gotta get some reps in.
Get
man.
that backswing up, G.
I'm gonna get some reps in. Because I live so close to Top Golf. I'm gonna get some reps in. Then I'm gonna challenge you guys to like a what driving range stuff, and then I'm gonna whoop your asses. And then you guys will be like, J Bone, the next Happy Gilmore out here. Let's go.
Hey, man, all I know is I'm going to be challenging and taking that belt back off your wall, you son of a bitch. Yeah, any of you guys who missed Tuesday's episode, Corey is the only one left on the show that has one of the belts after the Royal Rumble, thanks to drawing Rhea Ripley, and he's also won some money, you son of a bitch. But of all the belts he could have won, why did it have to be mine? What the fuck? You couldn't have won J-Bone?
That's the best.
You couldn't have won. Come on, man. You couldn't have won his.
Pro wrestling, Kyle. Come on, man.
I think for Corey, it felt that much better to take it from Kyle. I think that's what it was. He was really hunting.
Yeah. Why does everybody want to steal my shine and shit? I could have used some extra money, bro. I just had to take care of some shit on the car and everything, man. Like, what the fuck? I just paid for WrestleMania tickets, bro. I'm fucking broke. What the fuck?
Well,
but hopefully, after the UFC this weekend, maybe I can throw together one of these knockouts and 3 counts parlays and maybe win me some money. So, Mitch, how do you feel about making some picks with the UFC stuff this weekend, bro?
Sure. Let me pull them up.
All right. We'll just go through the main co-main.
I don't think we actually got the picks across though earlier for the Bellator stuff. How you guys feeling about that? Fedor retirement fight.
I got to go with my boy Ryan Bader, to be honest, but
yeah,
I know it's not popular.
I think it's going to be Bader too.
Yeah, it's a tough fight, man. Of all the people you're going to have go in there and try to retire against, you're talking their active heavyweight champion and Ryan Bader, who's significantly younger. And
but look at the balls, dude. You can't never say nothing about Fedor. Fedor said, "Fuck you, I'm going out as a G, bro. I'm going out with
not on a shield, bro.
Going out in the toughest competition that's available for him." In the title fight, it doesn't get any bigger for him. It truly doesn't. So I appreciate the hell out of that aspect of it. I definitely do. I just like you were saying, man, it's some uphill skiing, I feel like, for Fedor going into this weekend. But
he definitely can catch him with a punch, but
he surprised me in a couple of these fights, man. He's got that old man strength now, he was always strong, but now it's old man strength,
What's crazy is Fedor's always been crafty even off his back for a heavyweight. That's the funny thing. Everybody talks about the fact that Fedor can knock people out, but Fedor could just as easily submit you too. Because I have seen him submit people after people pounded the shit out of him on the ground. And he still submitted him. So I'm just saying, I'm not counting out Fedor, but if you're asking who I'm picking, I think Bader gets the dub in this one. I don't know. That's just me. But with these UFC fights, bro, some of these guys, I'm not gonna lie, I've only seen a couple fights from on the main card, but you've got because they don't even have some of the odds on some of these, but we'll go with the last few of them. You got where are we at? Marcin Tybura versus Blagoy Ivanov. I like that fight. I feel like it's gonna be somebody's gonna get knocked the fuck out in that fight. I feel like that's what's gonna happen with that one. How you guys like that fight? Who you got?
I'm just very surprised. I know he maybe doesn't get garner as much fan attention and stuff, but Marcin Tybura going in there and doing what he's done basically throughout his UFC career and going out there and surprising a lot of people and getting wins over some top level guys. And I feel like this is almost a step down from his last fight, if I'm to be honest, and he got a win. So I'm surprised for the matchup a little bit. I like Blagoy, but I feel like we've seen him in his UFC career kind of like he reaches towards the top, but he just stutters almost every time he gets there. And I feel like this is going to be one of those fights. And I feel like Marcin Tybura, if I'm saying that correctly, I feel like he's one of those guys that once he starts to garner a little more attention from the fans, he'll work his way up a little more into the heavyweight top 5 and stuff.
So you're taking Tybura then?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Who you got, Mitch?
He said it best. I got Tybura too.
Yeah, I think in this one, I was looking back into their last fights. Ivanov's coming off a win too. I mean, he is number 15 versus number 10, but I also think this could be the UFC trying to throw him a bone too. So if Tybura gets a dub in this one, I could definitely see him obviously cracking inside the top 10 and seeing what he's got next. But as far as this fight, I mean, Ivanov's tough, but I think something tells me that Tybura is going to catch him. I feel like he's going to show up and he's going to get the dub over Ivanov. But like you said, Corey,
yeah, he's won 5 out of
one
the last 6, dude. He's got the momentum as well, so that's kind of a
right.
big deal. Wait, Tom, did you guys do parlays this week? Did you guys get parlays together? Am I the only one? Am I the only one prepared here?
No,
I didn't say we weren't. I said we were going to throw them together. So if you've already got one on tap, motherfucker, throw it this way so I can win some money.
I already got one ready. We're going to pay the bills this weekend, baby.
Shit, that's what I'm talking about. I said I'm broke over here. What the fuck?
We already got it, dude. I got Tybura. I got one in the prelims, Jung Park. I'm taking that one because for some reason that line's been switching a lot. I've been watching that, but right now he's at minus 215. Taking that one. And you got to take the Derek Lewis prop bet because if you put him in the second round TKO or knockout, that's going to put you up at about plus 1,400. You throw 20 on that, you're going home solid, dude. I promise you that. So take that bet, Derek Lewis by knockout. That's the parlay right there. We're going to pay the bills this weekend.
I mean, if that one hits, you ain't kidding. You're making some money. That's for sure.
I mean, I ain't mad at those odds for sure, dude. Well, in the co-main, it says we got Da-Woon Jung versus Devin Clark. I definitely probably said that wrong. But
yeah, for sure, dog. You hit it on the head, dog.
Man. You're usually good with the name.
Hey, dude, I definitely said that wrong. Corey, who you got since you want to laugh at my pronunciations?
So about that. No, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I feel like Devin Clark is he's showcased yet kind of what I was saying earlier about Ivanov or how there's some tough names on this card, isn't there?
Ivanov, come on, guy.
Yeah. I got too many vowels.
Get it together, guy. Come on.
Dyslexic ass brain to like try to remember it now. But that being said, Devin Clark, good old American name. That's an easy one.
Yeah.
No,
I like Devin Clark as well in this fight because they're both coming off a loss on this one. That's the thing. The lines look a little different because they're both coming off of losses, but I feel like this is a good fight for Devin Clark. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, I feel like Devin Clark, he's just one, like I was saying about Ivanov earlier, he's one of those guys that he keeps working his way up into the top echelon of 205, and every time he gets there, he takes a step down. Every time. But every time they feed him some of these up-and-coming guys, he goes out there and really puts on a showcase fight. And I feel like that's going to be what we see going into this weekend is a Devin Clark victory. Because of that reason, I'm a fan of him. I wish he would kind of turn that corner a little bit more. But it's something that we've seen in the past for sure.
Who you like in this one, Mitch?
I don't know them both a ton, but I know Clark a little bit, so I'm gonna have to go with Clark. But I've watched a couple of Clark's fights too. I mean, he fights tough. Like you said, it's like he's 13-7. He's had like some tough losses, some good wins, but he always usually finishes the fight hard. So it's probably gonna come down to just inside the cage who can get that decision. So we'll see.
J-Bone, who you got?
I'm with you guys, man. Like, I don't know much about the other guy, but Clark's sitting at plus 205 right now. It seems like easy money Possibly.
I was gonna say, wait, I got a parlay for you, and it's gonna include Devin Clark. But that gets us to the main event. You got Derek Lewis, who has been trimming down against Sergey Spivak. Now, before we get to our picks on this, does anybody got any thoughts on Derek Lewis getting so pissed off by what DC said about him not being in the elite anymore? Anybody got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I definitely do, right? And that is the fact of if it I don't know if it's been overemphasized, over talked about in his career, whatever the case be, or if it was just like kind of a running joke type of thing where the whole I don't train for fights, I was only in the gym once, twice a week going into this training camp and stuff like that. Like if that was really the case, then yeah, I can understand why people are giving him shit because now hey, MMA's caught up to that game, and now like that work that you weren't putting in earlier in your career is starting to show, you know. But if it was just kind of an inside joke, and you know, like my big thing going into this weekend, are we going to see a new mythical MMA creature, which is the svelte Derek Lewis, you know, coming in there looking, you know, in shape, you know, you can tell he's taking it more serious. That I definitely appreciate that. He's somebody, of course, that every fan of the UFC pretty much is a fan of Derek Lewis for the most part. And I don't know, man.
That's just because his balls are hot.
Yeah, the balls are hot. The Ronda Rousey, you know, like there was so many great spots. Yeah, did you see that? Did you see that clip? That was great. Did you guys see that the interview with DC that he did just a couple weeks back?
No, what did he say?
It was before the camera went live. DC was talking about how he had just ran into Ronda Rousey at a WrestleMania, or not WrestleMania, but a WWE event, you know, a couple weeks back or whatever the case was. And Derek Lewis just instantly was like, "Did she ask about me though?"
She's like, "No, she did not ask about you."
Dude, I think she's got all she can handle with Travis Brown, dude.
It was great. It was like DC's instant reaction, like for real, motherfucker. Like you're like that's.
Hey, bro, he's trying to shoot his shot. Hot damn it! He's seen her doing all them arm bars over there in the WWE and doing the war paint and all that shit, and he was trying to shoot his last shot. You know what?
He was like, "You have a wife." He's like, "I know."
Yeah, that was great. But going back to the fight, man, Derek Lewis, I really, yet again, these shows always have a reoccurring theme, and this one is I hope this guy rounds the fucking corner because Derek Lewis is one of them guys, man. And Sergey Spivak, yet again, if I'm saying that one correctly, but I'm a big fan of his. Earlier in his UFC career, I guess I just didn't take into consideration how young he was taking on these grown-ass men at heavyweight. So I kind of gave him shit earlier on, but I feel like he is one of those people that has really improved his skills. He's leveled up all across the board. And now he's main eventing in the UFC against Derek Lewis, a fan favorite, in a potential spot to really get that traction behind him a little bit. So I don't know, man. I feel like this is a tough fight for Derek Lewis. If he's able to stuff some of these takedowns and stuff, it could definitely go his way with the power and stuff. And I mean, even if he doesn't stuff some of the takedowns, even if he just fucking Curtis Blades them where he lands a fucking uppercut while he's shooting, I mean, we've seen Derek Lewis do some crazy things in there for sure. But I don't know, man. This is a tough one for him. And Sergey Spivak, I feel like he's a solid upcoming potential contender in the heavyweight division, but let's go Derek Lewis, baby.
Yeah, I think I like what you said. Like, he's definitely got to stop his takedowns. It's gonna be a 5-round fight, right? So it's hopefully, you know, Derek Lewis, if by him looking a little skinnier, he's in shape, he can stuff enough of those takedowns and get Sergey tired. But I mean, it's gonna be hard he's gonna keep shooting on him, but you got to go with Derek Lewis. I don't think I've ever bet against Derek Lewis, to be honest. Even though I've lost a couple of them, I'm okay with it. But yeah, I'll go Derek Lewis. I'm gonna catch him.
Yeah.
J-Bone, what do you got?
Let's go. You already know, man. Derek Lewis TKO. I'm even gonna put it in the second round though. Put a little icing on the cake, man. Let's go.
Hey, when you read that number out, I was like, damn, that's spicy.
And it's
right
gonna
there.
change. It's gonna change again because it was higher 2 days ago. Today it's a little lower. It's gonna change again. It'll change again tomorrow. But correct me if I'm wrong, guys, because I'm reading multiple things here. This fight it's not here, right? It's not in the States, correct?
It says Las Vegas.
It was originally slated to be a Korea card.
Okay, because
and then
that's the one that was supposed to be stupid earlier.
On one side, I'm seeing like a 10.
Steve says Derek Lewis
prelim time and like main event time around 3:15 a.m. And on the other side, I'm seeing our normal fight time. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
No, so that's the reason why, like, you have the Dao Jung, I believe, is the co-main event and stuff like that. They have a ton of Korean talent. They're ending the road to the Ultimate Fighter, or whatever they called the Korean Ultimate Fighter series on this card. So this card, like I said, was supposed to be originally slated for over there. Korean Zombie got injured, and they felt like it wasn't worth essentially renting out a whole venue and stuff like that to hold these fights over there. So now, welcome to the Apex, baby.
Back to the Apex, right?
The good old-fashioned Apex, which they can retire the Apex anytime.
Well, I mean, it's good for something here, right, Corey? I mean,
they can't retire the Apex because the slap fight finals are supposed to be there.
But no, but that time thing is a real thing, Jordan. The time thing is a real thing, and that there's about one card a year that questions my my fandom. You know, I'll stay up for some of these crazy fights sometimes. But
wait, so is it in the middle of the night, or is it going to be normal?
No. Oh shit, they're still doing it at 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Actually.
Even from Vegas?
The main
Holy
card,
shit! Yeah, I'm looking at their website right now. It says Sunday, February 5th, 1 a.m. Eastern.
Oh boy,
main
that's when the main
starts
card
at
starts, 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So we got about 10, 15
boy.
p.m. Whoa, God, at least it's a Saturday night.
Hey, just think about it, bro. If you're trying to watch some MMA, you could sit there and watch the Fedor fight. You'll be able to watch the whole shit, and then you can go watch the UFC. If you're really trying to go hard like that, you can just watch that shit just straight through.
I'm just saying, going to be
12 hours.
What better way to put the wife to sleep? You know what I mean? Just put on some MMA.
I mean, bro,
you got the rest of the night to yourself. Am I right?
Don't be scared because Dominique's gonna be popping up on you testing her RNC skills and shit.
Oh,
bro.
trust me, she's watching. She's gonna kill me.
All right, well, I'll keep it short then, so you don't get killed. With that being said, I think Derek Lewis is gonna get the dub on this one too, and so I can throw me out a parlay, and Mitch, feel free to throw one out if you want to as well. I think I'm gonna go Derek Lewis at plus 100. At least that's what it says on UFC. It's probably different on DraftKings, but plus 100 for Derek Lewis, plus 205 for Devin Clark, and I'm gonna take Marcin Tybura.
That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. I'm gonna go Duho Choi as my opener. I'm gonna go Marcin Tybura, and then gotta go Derek Lewis just for that sprinkle at the top.
Are you guys taking the prop on him though? Are you taking the
I don't
knockout
know if
prop?
I trust the second round thing, but I could definitely see
You
it.
have to do second round. You got. I mean, would you not take the knockout prop? Is this thing gonna go 5 rounds? I doubt it.
Oh, I thought you said second round.
I'm just
knockout.
doing second round. Personally, I'm going to do
okay.
second round. But you could just take a TKO prop.
Yeah.
You don't have to pick the round.
Here,
let me put it together. You guys proceed, and I'll put it together for you. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm very curious what the difference would even be, really, because if you're picking Derek Lewis by anything, like if you're picking,
everyone knows the way it's gonna.
He
wins by knockout.
If he wins, he's gonna knock him out. That's what's gonna happen.
I can't imagine it's more than plus 200 or plus 250.
I wonder what the odds.
Come on, J-Bone, you're the sports bookie. Come on, Yanni the Greek.
All right, so now this is just with my parlay adding the second round prop. It puts it up to plus 2450, dude. Now, if you're taking the second round prop on just the singular Derek Lewis fight, it puts it at plus 900 alone. That's just a second round finish. Should I say it again?
Just a straight up TKO. No round.
Straight up TKO is plus 240.
Yeah. What's the odds? What's the straight odds?
Straight odd by itself.
It was plus 100.
195 at the moment. That's on DraftKings.
Hell yeah. So you're getting even better odds on DraftKings. Like I said, let's go. My fucking parlay
It might be a
wins.
good idea to sprinkle a little bit on each round. I mean, come on. Is this thing going 5 rounds? Are we going to do a decision here? Probably not.
I'm down with putting some money on it by knockout, but I
Either
feel
way.
a lot more confident in that parlay now that you say it was 195 over there.
Yes.
Plus, I'm getting at least 205 on Devin Clark, and I'm going to take Tybura too. Let's go.
Sprinkle some money around. Pay your bills this weekend. You know what I mean? Let's win some money, man.
God damn it. Look, those Metallica and Pantera concert, that like really hurt me. So
And
I'm
if
just
all
saying.
if all else fails and we all lose our money, we can all call Kyle for a loan. No big deal. It's
Fuck
fine.
no, you can't. I'm the one bought the Metallica concert tickets. What part of that did you just miss?
Ring that bell.
I broke too, bitch. With that being said, Mitch, anything else that you got coming up, man? We talked about you got fights coming out. If you got anybody you want to shout out, dude, we definitely got to do this again once you announce the next fight news, brother, man.
Yeah, I mean, just my fight's coming up April 14th, LFA up in Sioux Falls. Hopefully we can get on the main event for that one. And then my brother's wrestling Minnesota versus Iowa wrestling tomorrow night. So that's a big duel. He's
Nice.
and my boy Michael Blockus. So they're both on the team. So I'm excited for that one. Start the weekend with some dubs there, and then get some more Saturday night with some of the fights. So.
Do you got a parlay before we let you go? We've all thrown out parlays. Do you have one?
I don't know. I haven't done a ton of betting lately myself, but my bookie took off MMA after the whole Kraus thing.
Yeah.
So,
One of our guests a couple weeks ago was right in the middle of it with Jimmy Flick having 2 opponent changes out of that fight because of that.
yeah, it's kind of sucks. Not a good look. But I'll do the Bellator fights. Let's go.
Bet, do it up.
Let's go Darian, my boy DC. Let's go Eblin and Bader.
I like it. We gave you Bellator parlays. We gave you UFC parlays. If you hit that subscribe button, you'll see all the parlays, man. And with that being said, make sure you check out our sponsors as well. Make sure you check out G3 Payroll and Tax. It's tax season. Get you some money, and then you can lay a fucking parlay. Use the link in the bio. Check them out. Tell Jack that we told you to come see him and get yourself some money off your taxes. And like I said, the state of pro wrestling is good right now with the Bloodline. Make sure you're at Astronomicon. If you're coming there to see Rikishi and all them, come say what up to your boys from Knockouts at 3 Counts and check out our sponsors over there as well, too. Well, I've done flap my gums for long enough. I'm looking forward to April 14th. And I'm really looking forward to this Makhachev fight coming up, too. But we got a lot more fire coming your way, too, this way next week. You have Mother Endless on Tuesday, and you have the return of the Eagle, Adrian Hajabij, before they're giving me a live mic for commentary on February 18th for Lights Out 8. Make sure you do it. Be there in the building. Wayne, Michigan, Hype Athletic Center. Until next time and in the in-between time, peace.